Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Mike, with December's Pope's Prayer Intention. For Christians in areas of war or conflict. Let us pray that Christians living in areas of war or conflict, especially in the Middle East, might be seeds of peace, reconciliation, and hope. The Christians in the Middle East have suffered tremendously in the last 20 years. And Christians always suffer in areas of war or conflict. It is our duty to sustain our brothers and sisters caught in such circumstances with our prayers, especially now in union with the Pope, but at all times. Because we know that even if the world can resolve the fighting and bring about an armistice or a ceasefire, it is only when Christ reigns in our hearts that we can truly have peace. And Christians living in areas of war or conflict, a terrible circumstance, have the potential to be a great leaven of peace. As the Pope says, might be seeds of peace, reconciliation, and hope. The Pope video for this month's intention includes footage from Iraq, where villages have been rebuilt after the terrible devastation of the war that followed the invasion, Gaza, where Christians continue to suffer today, and Lebanon, where conflict raged for so many years and where even today the country is host to refugees from the long, brutal civil war in Syria and other conflicts. We should pray for Christians living in any area of war or conflict, but especially those in the Middle East who have suffered so much. And here let me highlight a contrast. The scriptures tell us that there's a time for war and a time for peace. There is a time when fighting is the moral choice. But it is striking to me that the Pope's prayer intention is that Christians living in areas of war or conflict, especially in the Middle East, might be seeds of peace, reconciliation, and hope. In conflict with the so-called Christians who have placed politics above the faith, especially as those such as at the satirical publication The Babylon Bee, who profess the name of Christ, but actively argue that the Christians in Gaza ought to be slaughtered to the last man, only because they're Catholics and therefore not really Christians. That's going to go really well for the people arguing that at the judgment, I fear. Yeah. So instead of being like those who have given over to the world, those who let Washington be their guide, let us let the King of the universe, Jesus Christ, reign in our hearts. And let us pray that Christians living in areas of war or conflict, especially in the Middle East, might be seeds of peace, reconciliation, and hope. Continue to lift up our brothers and sisters in your prayers. Have masses said for them. Pray that their faith will survive, their faith will be strengthened, and that they can be the means through which the Lord brings about peace, where presently conflict and war rage. Comment below with how we can pray for you. Give this episode a like. Subscribe to our channel, but you'll be notified the next time a plot is uploaded. Ring that little church bell, and then you'll get notifications. And until next time, continue to pray in solidarity with the Pope, the Vicar of Christ on earth. And remember to live your faith, love your faith, share that love.